Y'all, it is another Get Ready With Me while I talk about the banned book 1984. So, I actually went out and bought the book because I wanted to be able to underline and know the exact pages that the books were on. So, the audiobook is different than the printed one. It is by chapter in the audiobook, but in the printed, it's like chapter 1, chapter 2, and goes like that. But within the chapters, there's Roman numerals, and that is how the audiobook does the chapters. One of the quotes that I did put was in chapter 3, but it's still within chapter 1 of the actual printed book. So my quote is a little before one of those, and they're about a little bit out of order, but I'm going to try to get it all in sequence as I continue this series. I'm gonna have to grab the book because it's a little long for me to remember, and that is why I get ready so much earlier, because now I'm also reading to you guys. This is page 27, part 2 of chapter 1. Nothing was your own except the few cubic centimeters inside your skull. He wondered again for whom he was writing the diary, for the future, for the past, for an age that might be imaginary, and in front of him there lay not death but annihilation. The diary would be reduced to ashes and himself to vapor. Only the thought police would read what he had written before they wiped it out of existence and out of memory. How could you make your appeal to the future when not a trace of you, not even an anonymous word scribbled on a piece of paper, could physically survive? So I had to finish all this so that I can read the rest of it. I'm also going to pop a wig on my head because I am not doing my hair today. This is on the same page, continuing his thought. Curiously, the chiming of the hour seemed to have put new heart into him. He was a lonely ghost uttering the truth that nobody could ever hear. But so long as he uttered it in some obscure way, the continuity was not broken. It was not by making yourself heard, but by staying sane, that you carried on the human heritage. And he went back to his table to write. To the future or to the past, to a time when thought is free and when men are different from one another, and do not live alone, to a time when truth exists and what is done cannot be undone. From the age of uniformity, from the age of solitude, from the age of Big Brother, from the age of doublethink, greetings. He was already dead, he reflected. It seemed to him that it was only now, when he had begun to be able to formulate his thoughts, that he had taken the decisive step. The consequences of every act are included in the act itself, he wrote. Thought crime does not entail death. Thought crime is death. I believe why this was so important to me from this part of the book is because as a writer and who has kept a in-depth, probably too in-depth record of my life and my thoughts, to think that you cannot express yourself freely is really, really scary. And it sort of reminds me of this day and age. I think now more than ever, it is a very important time to educate yourself, even through fiction books, because they have banned so many of these books just like this, and even some other ones. I looked at the banned book list today, and it's actually insane. But there has to be a reason why they don't want us to read them, and it's because they don't want us to read their booklet. This is literally a pamphlet for what they're doing. And on that note, I am ready, and I am going to exercise my right to be hot on the internet. Yay, bye!